The Congo is a truly sensational and absolutely beautiful place, but sometimes, beneath a pretty surface, darkness can linger, and the Congo is no exception. There are some truly terrifying things lurking there, from 2. Welcome to a new video. These are 15 creepy discoveries in the Congo that scared the world. If you like this kind of content, subscribe to our channel. It's free. Now let's get started. Number 15. A rare species of gorilla. Back in 2008, a group of researchers in the forests of the Republic of Congo found 125,000 western lowland gorillas. This was a substantial increase in their estimated population. The gorilla census was conducted jointly by the Wildlife Conservancy, Civil Society, and the Republic of Congo identified these gorillas in 2 areas covering 18,000 square miles in the northern part of the country. These gentle giants, primarily herbivores, lived in peaceful family units in almost inaccessible regions of the deep forest, the vast area offering the animals abundant food sources. Prior to this discovery, estimates from the 1980s suggested that fewer than 100,000 western lowland gorillas existed, and that numbers had been declining by at least 50% due to hunting and disease. However, the newly discovered population raised their estimated number from 175,000 to 225,000, a significant revelation amid threats posed by Ebola and bushmeat hunting. Although it was a vital discovery, researchers have said the gorillas are not yet safe. The threat of Ebola and ongoing hunting persists, and there is still a huge need for continued conservation efforts. Number 14. The giant Congo snake. People have been spotting snakes for a lot longer since before the internet even existed. Here we have an old photograph that was supposedly taken in 1959 by a Belgian Air Force colonel. While he was stationed in Belgian-occupied Congo during the 1950s, he said he had been flying in a helicopter over the Katanga area when he saw something below. The guy claimed to have seen the snake below, which he believed was 50 feet long and had a head that looked to be 2 feet wide and 3 feet long. This picture is said to have been taken by a photographer who was on board the flight, although it could also be a picture of an earthworm in the mud, and I would say the snake you see there weighed close to 50 tons, but what do you think? Did they see some ancient and undiscovered snake species that were really huge, or was it a supersized African rock python? Maybe the colonel was having a fun 5 minutes, but let us know what you think in the comments section below. Number 13. Electrical mineral rock. Next we have a short video that seems to suggest that these rocks have some sort of electrical charge. Interesting. The footage shows the rocks sparking off each other and another shows a bit of rock that is lighting up a light bulb. They claim that this rock is vibranium. Well, vibranium is actually a fictional metal in the Marvel Comics universe. It is a rare and invaluable metallic element that is supposed to be nearly indestructible and possesses the ability to absorb and store large amounts of kinetic energy. In the Marvel universe, vibranium is primarily associated with the African nation of Wakanda, where it is found in abundance. The most famous use is in Captain America's shield, which is made entirely from a vibranium alloy. Vibranium is a plot device in several Marvel stories, as its usable state is at the center of all sorts of conflicts and technological advancements. So the likelihood of this rock actually being a fictional rock from a comic book universe, well, not likely at all. But the internet encourages this sort of thing. If there were power rocks, they would certainly be helpful with all of the world's expanding energy needs. But fake power rocks aren't coming to save us anytime soon. Number 12. Mountain of gold. On a mountain again. Probably best to take it with a pinch of salt. Images from 2021 purportedly showing people from nearby villages running towards the mountain in the Democratic Republic of Congo seem to indicate that the mountain was full of gold, and some people have said that it is between 60 to 90% natural gold deposits, when suddenly a mountain is announced to be full of gold. Lots of people turn up and start digging, so the appearance of so many people on the scene can really take its toll on an area's already flimsy infrastructure, and the local village was under so much pressure that the authorities apparently banned mining in the area. There are apparently many different types of minerals in the earth in the Congo, and low-budget do-it-yourself mining is relatively commonplace. As a result, there is quite a bit of exploitation as well. Number 11. Billy Ape. In the mid-1990s, the ape of photographer and conservationist named Carl Amann came across a strange footnote in an ancient manuscript, and it got him very excited. Anyway, what Amann discovered would lead him to look at a bunch of unusual skulls that had been ignored up until that point. The skulls were a real head-scratcher, and had been classified as gorilla skulls, but were from an area that had no gorillas. Ammon then decided that this was a mystery he needed to solve, and he would spend the next decade rummaging through the remote forests of northern Congo looking for these mysterious apes. And it is believed that what he found are traces of these apes, but there is no conclusive evidence, and finally, after a lifetime of searching the DNA, evidence was analysed and it was concluded that the apes he was looking for were none other than chimpanzees. That's right, 10 years and multiple malaria infections only to find out that there was no new secret ape. Number 10. The giant spider. Next up, we have a spider that is actually a mythical creature. The largest known species of spider in Africa is the baboon spider, although the last specimen was captured over 100 years ago and exists only in the Natural History Museum in London, England. Although if you were a spider that kept seeing your friends being captured as specimens, you might decide the best course of action is to disappear and hide from any nosy animal that points a magnifying glass in your direction. Anyway, this large hairy spider is known to have been a venomous tarantula that was found throughout Africa, particularly Nigeria. They would live in burrows and dry bushes, grassy areas and savanna forests, and would burrow deep underground to protect themselves from the heat. Although very little information exists on these baboon spiders, they are still thought to be absolutely enormous. In the Congo, there is a mythological creature known as the Jiba Fofi, which is said to be a spider the size of a dog. It sounds scary, but no one has ever taken a photograph of one, and there is no real evidence of it. It has been witnessed to exist on occasion, but like all cryptids, there are plenty of tales and folklore that still give people the creeps, and a number of deaths have also been attributed to this monstrous spider. Local people claim to have seen it, but sightings have become few and far between in recent times, and to be honest, that's probably just as well. Number 9. The deadly Ebola outbreak. The second largest outbreak of Ebola virus disease occurred in the Democratic Republic of Congo in 2018. It was a deadly and horrific incident that killed many people, and since then, there have continued to be cases in the country, and these have had a fatality rate of 66%. The Ebola virus is a deadly virus that can cause severe illness in humans and other primates, and can lead to a difficult-to-treat disease. Simply put, the Ebola virus is transmitted to humans primarily through contact with infected animals such as monkeys or apes' fruit bats, either by handling them or consuming their meat. Once the virus enters the human population, it then spreads through human-to-human transmission, through direct contact with bodily fluids and infected individuals. Symptoms of Ebola virus disease may include fever, headache, severe muscle pain, weakness, fatigue, diarrhea, vomiting, abdominal pain, and unexplained bleeding or bruising. The disease can progress rapidly and lead to serious complications, including organ failure and death. Viral illnesses have occurred sporadically in Central and West Africa, with the largest outbreak recorded in West Africa between 2014 and 2016. The World Health Organization and other health organizations are working to contain outbreaks through measures such as isolating infected people, tracing contacts, providing supportive care, and promoting safe burial practices. Research continues to develop vaccines and treatments for Ebola virus disease. Issue 8. Newly described truffle species. It turns out that bonobos, a type of primate that lives exclusively in the forests of the Congo, are especially partial to a certain type of truffle. They are a more elegant and refined type of ape. The truffle is a special type of mushroom that grows underground near the roots of certain trees, but like oaks or hazelnuts, it looks like a small, lumpy bowl and is prized for its strong, unique flavor. People often use truffles to add a rich, earthy flavor to foods like risotto pasta, or even chocolate, because they are so rare and hard to find that they can be quite expensive and are considered a delicacy in many cuisines. The truffles found in the Congo are a type of underground mushroom that grows in the forests of the region, are similar to those found in other parts of the world, and are characterized by their distinctive aroma and flavor. They typically grow near the roots of certain trees, forming a symbiotic relationship with them. Number 7. Lesula, rare monkeys. The Lesula monkey is a species of Old World monkey found in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, particularly in the Lomami Basin area of Central Africa. It was first described to science in 2012, and this makes it one of the most recent primate discoveries. It's an exciting thing, I'm sure, as Lesula monkeys have distinctive features including a bright golden-coloured patch on the lower back and a bare face, which is usually a rather attractive blue colour. They have a relatively large range of vocalizations, including screams and grunts which they use to communicate within their social groups. These monkeys mainly inhabit the lowland rainforests of the Congo, and this is a good place to forage for fruits and seeds, leaves, and other plant materials. They are also marked, meaning they are active during the day, and mostly seem to live in small family groups that are usually led by an alpha male. Although they are a bit rare and only seem to live in one part of the world, these monkeys are not currently classified as endangered, but like most animals, their population is threatened by habitat loss due to deforestation and bushmeat hunting. So fingers crossed for these monkeys. Number 6. Child labour and mining. This video reveals the dark and dangerous secrets behind our obsession with technology as it shows a coltan mine. Coltan is short for Columbite tent toys, which is also known simply as TEN. This is the metallic mineral that contains elements niobium and tantalum. It is this tantalum that is most valued as it is used to make tantalum capacitors. These are essential components in mobile phones, computers, cameras, and the electronics in your car. In fact, most of our modern lives are dependent on the technology facilitated by this element. So, guess where there is demand and therefore money to be made? Someone is going to be exploited. And in this case, it is some of the poorest and most vulnerable people in the world, Democratic Republic of Congo. The conditions in which the miners work are dangerous and potentially life-threatening, and there are gases that can cause asphyxiation as well as the longer-term risks of breathing these particles. Measures are now supposedly in place to ensure ethics in mining practices. Issue 5. New lizard species. In 2012, a discovery was made in a war-torn region of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, as reported in the African Journal of Herbology. A new species of lizard was discovered sheltering under a rock in the high grasslands of the A-Rungu Plateau, an area notorious for landmines. You might as well hide under a rock if you were surrounded by mines. But naturally, the position of the lizard's preferred dwelling has made studying their habits somewhat challenging. The plateau they reside on was the site of fierce conflict during the fighting in Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo in the early 21st century. It's tricky to determine whether lizards specifically are endangered because war basically endangers all living things in the end. Number 4. The drone carrying gold and weapons. This is one of those steaming piles of garbage that the internet is so fond of reporting and then turning into a so-called news story, when in reality there is absolutely nothing at all that even vaguely resembles the truth. This video is baseless and claims to be of a downed drone that some people say was carrying gold weapons and parachutes, but others have said was carrying humanitarian supplies. It has been said to be a UN drone, so I don't know. Maybe it was the second thing on the internet, which is full of trolls and bad actors and a lot of political nonsense that will make up stuff about the UN. Why? But whatever it is, this is cobblers. Number 3. The Ishango bone. The Ishango bone is an ancient artifact that was discovered in the Democratic Republic of the Congo near Lake Edward back in the 1950s. It is a piece of bone that most likely came from a baboon that has markings on it that suggest to archaeologists that it was used for mathematical calculations, although it is actually incredibly old, like the oldest calculator ever discovered, which dates back about 20,000 years. Considered one of the oldest mathematical artifacts ever found, it is about 10 centimeters long and has a series of notches carved into it in 3 columns. Researchers believe that these notches may represent some kind of primitive form of tally marks that may have been used to count or track certain kinds of things. Some interpretations have suggested that the marks may have been used for basic arithmetic tracking of the lunar or menstrual cycle, or even early attempts at multiplication and division. The significance of the Ishango bone lies in its potential as evidence of early human mathematical understanding, and its role in the development of arithmetic, providing insight into the cognitive abilities and cultural practices of ancient societies in Africa. The artifact is currently housed at the Royal Belgian Institute of Natural Sciences in Brussels, Belgium, where it continues to be studied by archaeologists and mathematicians. Number 2. Mokele Mbembe. If you were one of the last of your kind and you wanted to stay hidden and safe from all things dangerous, where exactly would you hide? In a frozen loch in rainy old Scotland, or in the deepest forest in the remotest part of the Congo in Africa? This is the story of the lesser-known dinosaur-like monstrous creature believed to inhabit the area of the Democratic Republic of Congo that is so unknown that it appears as a blank space with the words and insufficient data to delineate the terrain. So if there is a surviving prehistoric monster who can tell whether it exists in this place or not. The mythical creature known to locals as Mokele Mbembe is believed to be a large reptile species with a long neck and tail, much like the lesser monster. Number 1. Kongomato. The Kongomato is a cryptid, which is a fancy word for a mythical creature that is part of the folklore of a district of Zambia, though it has apparently been seen in other parts of Africa as well, particularly in some swamps and nearby regions. Descriptions vary wildly, as these things tend to do, but it is generally described as a large bat-like creature with leathery wings and a wingspan of up to 7 feet. You know, a bit like our old favourite, the Mothman. The name Kongomato roughly translates to boat breaker in the local language and refers to its supposed habit of attacking canoes or other watercraft according to local folklore. It's a dangerous predator known to attack and sometimes kill humans and animals alike, but since there are actually dangerous predators that do this in the region, who knows if this is even vaguely verifiable. Here's a clue. There are reports of encounters with the Kongomato dating back to the 1800s, early 20th century, with sightings reported by both local inhabitants and European explorers. Mostly ridiculous ideas the European explorers had because they were hell-bent on the animal existing. People were primitive and had some notions that they should make up wild stories of daring adventures. This doesn't mean that any of their accounts even vaguely resemble the truth, although some cryptozoologists speculate that the Kongomato may be a surviving group of flying reptiles. It is believed to have gone extinct millions of years ago, but like all other supposed surviving dinosaur creatures, it has never been proven to exist, and probably because it doesn't, while sightings of the creature continue to be reported sporadically. There is no concrete evidence to confirm its existence, and many researchers consider it a figment of folklore and myth rather than a real creature. However, the legend persists in local culture and has captured the imagination of cryptozoologists and enthusiasts of the unexplained around the world. We've reached the end of this video. Tell us your thoughts in the comments box. If you liked the video, give it a like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss future videos like this one. See you next time.